Welcome, friends, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a podcast created by fans for the fans, and we appreciate you listening to episode 141. I'm your host, the Architect of Pro Wrestling Podcast, Booker Andy.
I'm also host of the no-selling wrestling indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
And Tim will be on with us in a little bit. I forgot what his intro was, so I'm just like, I'm not even going to butcher it. That way we don't have to cut it out. Tim will be joining us in a little bit, but before then, please like, subscribe, follow us pretty much everywhere that there is social media and video. All of our stuff should be at the PW Fan. This week on TikTok, man, I don't know. Sometimes TikTok hits me with like thousands of people have seen your videos, and then like this week it was like 10 people saw this one. I was like, what the fuck happened, man?
It was the algorithm.
I just don't know. Yeah, it's just it'll go up and down. And it's like I'm the only person that liked the video this week. I was just like, oh my god. It's so sad.
So everyone go on TikTok and follow our TikTok.
Dude,
so Andy.
Something. I mean, we got followers this week. We got more followers than likes, it felt like.
That's so good, though.
And like I said last week, I mean, I will follow you back if you give me a follow on TikTok. I follow everyone back. So, yeah. So with that out of the way, this week we're going to be talking about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins all in the segment together. After SummerSlam, we're going to be talking about the Wyatts 6 debut, and we're going to be talking about the return to SmackDown for Roman Reigns and much more. So yeah, let's get right into it, starting with AEW this week. Dynamite. Dynamite opened with a match, not a talking segment, but a match. MJF versus Kyle Fletcher. MJF would end up winning. This is coming off of what happened the week before with them. And afterwards, well, let's say during the match, because you can't have the afterwards unless you talk about during the match. During the match, Don Callis gave Kyle Fletcher the screwdriver, the infamous Don Callis screwdriver, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so after the match, which MJF won, he starts beating down Kyle Fletcher. He uses the screwdriver on Kyle. And Kyle is left a bloody mess while Will Ospreay runs out to save his friend. And MJF gets the hell out of there. So, one of the main storylines going into All In, which is the 25th of August. So we got
in 2 weeks.
2 more weeks. It's
That's
on
crazy.
a Sunday, though. I don't like it being on Sunday. I like Saturday pay-per-views.
I know. Well, at least that one, like for us in America, is earlier. Because
I was going to say, yeah, it will be earlier at least. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. So yeah, this is to further their storyline, MJF and Will Ospreay. If I remember correctly, this is the problem with, waiting a week. The match was really good, from what I can remember.
Yeah.
But MJF did use the Dynamite ring, and
didn't he use the kangaroo kick?
He used the kangaroo kick as well, and then he did his. I think he finished him though with his. I guess it's just like Jon Moxley's finisher. It's that high DDT. It's like a paradigm shift.
Yeah, well, remember we were talking about like what's MJF's finisher, and none of us could really think of it.
I mean, a fucking roll up could be considered one of his finishers, considering how much he's won with
it. Yeah, and just the diamond ring is the main one. I feel like.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. And now that he's a heel again, it makes sense and everything.
Now it does.
He's doing that. I think it's kind of funny how he's doing that American heel thing. It's kind of like in reverse of like traditional wrestling gimmicks. Of like the foreigner is always the heel, and the guy who's like Hulk Hogan is the babyface.
Yeah, I mean, I guess usually they try to do a babyface run with it, and it never works out. Even Angle at one point became a heel, but
yeah,
he might have worn red, white, and blue, but he wasn't like MJF's full on like the song has changed. It's American flag behind him.
He was over in Rev Pro Wrestling in England over the weekend, and he started like reciting Hulk Hogan's theme song over there. And
The
like
I'm a
the
real
place
American.
was going crazy, like hating him over there. So I'm sure it's gonna be really cool and all in to see what happens.
It's gonna be fucking loud with booze, man. Osprey
Yeah,
is, I'm sure,
Osprey
beloved.
came out over there too, and he got like a huge pop. They love him over
Uh,
there.
I would hope so. I would hope he would.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, is there anything else you wanted to add about the MJF stuff?
No, I mean, yeah, it was a good match. Like MJF is always like, I feel like he's gotten a lot better in terms of matches on a weekly basis. But
Well, speaking of like, you're like, oh, he's back to being like full blown heel now, so the Dynamite ring makes sense. Well, the kangaroo
yeah,
sense then in that sense
yeah,
does not make sense.
I feel like he did it ironically though, like as in like now, because remember before he was like, I'm not doing that shit anymore and all this stuff, and then he's like doing it ironically now to annoy people.
Is Adam Cole still hurt from the same injury from the fucking ankle?
I think so. Like he's like, I think like obviously he can walk because we saw him walk, but like I don't think he can run and
Dude, it's
do
been
things yet.
so long, I feel like.
I know, like that storyline is kind of like you don't even need to do it anymore now.
You got to think they got to the end of like the Adam Cole MJF friendship around All In this time last year.
Yeah, would it be crazy if he comes back at All In and screws MJF over?
And what? I don't
Like
think.
that'd be a way to get into their
Yeah.
feud again because no one really care anymore.
Because they never got to do it, right?
Yeah, yeah. It ended with Adam Cole like turn on MJF.
And then when MJF returned, he just like
Like
low
Adam
blowed
Cole
Adam
was.
Cole in the ring.
Oh, that's right, he did. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
Yeah. And that
but
was
they
the
have
last
to
time
do
we saw
more than
Adam
that.
Cole, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So backstage, Hangman Adam Page still continues to promise to get his revenge on Swerve. This is what I think's happening. I think Danielson will win because Hangman costs Swerve the title.
Ooh, so then Danielson is
It
champion.
protects Swerve's, and
It
Danielson
does.
doesn't have to never wrestle again.
Yeah.
Like his whole thing, remember, was I just won't be a full-time wrestler. And I was talking to Tim about
Yeah.
this last episode when you weren't on. It's like it's the problem with you put yourself into like you back yourself into a corner, like with Cody and the championship
Yeah.
shit that he did.
I
Like, and
never
he
like when they
regretted
do that.
doing it. And so you're never gonna wrestle again, not even like a one-off.
I
You're not
know.
that old to where you couldn't do like a match a year.
Yeah, exactly.
You could do if
Yeah.
you want to be with AEW, you could do All In once a year. People
Yeah,
would tune in.
he could easily do that. He could do every other pay-per-view if he needed to too.
So Booker Andy says that's what's happening.
That's a good
Hangman
idea.
doesn't have
I
a
like
match.
that.
He's not in a feud with anyone.
And also, finally, Danielson will be a champion because he never wants to be because he doesn't. He always wants to put people over, but he can finally be a champion.
But does he just win the belt and then is like, all right, I'm retiring
He's
from
done.
full time, so then I'm giving it up?
And then they have a tournament.
Wins it. Yeah, and then
Because they
another
love
tournament.
tournaments.
And then that will culminate at All Out.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Britt Baker's suspension got lifted and she appeared on screen. Did they ever say on screen why she was suspended?
No, they never said on screen.
Because
that's when it came out like on Twitter
was it
and everything else.
fighting officials trying to get at Mercedes?
Oh yeah.
And
Storyline wise,
who are cool with Mercedes, yeah, suspended her.
That way they did, yeah.
But yeah, she's back. Or I guess she wasn't there in person, but she's apparently not suspended anymore. So dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. Look, I wasn't there. I don't know the full story. I only know what was said, which means
What it sounds like it's kind of like stupid to get into a fight about it, but
so me and Tim talked a little bit about it. I don't remember what we said, but if I'm not mistaken, real quickly, because I don't want to go over it too much again, is that she was talking shit about like MJF and Alicia in the women's locker room, and Alicia went to MJF, and then MJF and Britt basically got into it. But MJF punched the wall, and nothing happened to him, as far as we know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
that's it.
I mean,
I didn't know if you. I just wanted to make sure you didn't hear something else that I
Oh
heard
no,
that like
no,
maybe
that
my
was it.
story
Yeah.
that I heard was wrong.
I was like, I guess if you pay someone that much to MJF, you need him there at shows.
I mean, Britt Baker has a big show
She has a big
or big
contract too.
match. Big match. Also, though, big match at. They were like, oh, we can't fully suspend her. We have to at least keep this
Just like
storyline
a
going.
week.
Yeah. Like some consequences have to happen.
Yeah.
There was an interview with Swerve and JR, and man, this made me sad. JR, I know he's been sick, just does not look great.
No, he does not. Even in like a pre-taped interview, I was like, "Oh, Jr."
It's
Like
either his age or a mix of both age and
I
like
think it's a
being
mix of
ill.
both. Yeah,
But I was just like, God, dude.
I know it was kind of
Like,
rough to
I
see
also
that.
was like, I'm kind of glad you're not full time commentary though. If this is what you
Yeah,
like
because
right now,
it's funny because I watched like on TikTok, I think an AEW clip came up and it was like JR in commentary. I was like, oh, I miss JR being in there, and then I saw like that and I was like, I'm kind of glad that he's not doing it anymore.
yeah, for someone that's in that kind of shape and has to like travel all the time to be there every week if you were on commentary,
Yeah,
just no. So
yeah.
I hope he ends up being okay. And speaking of, Kevin Sullivan passed away this past
Oh yeah,
week. Who was both known for his work in WWE and WCW. So both companies were doing somewhat tribute to him. I know
yeah.
WWE had a video. Did AEW? I don't think AEW had a video. I think they just had
No, I don't think so.
but WWE had a video this week.
Yeah, they had a video. Yeah.
The main event though, the JR Swerve interview, it was to continue the storyline. Danielson would have an interview as well on Collision by himself with JR. But the main event was Bryan Danielson defeating Jeff Jarrett with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat on commentary. Bloody match. I'm not used to seeing an old guy like Jeff Jarrett
I know.
bleed like that, but it was good. You know,
I mean, I feel like both of these guys went into it like this is the last time they're gonna face each other ever.
I don't even remember them ever facing each other before, but
I don't know. I mean, not in WWE. WWE, I don't think, but like probably maybe before. I don't know. I have to look it up.
maybe
But
on the
if they
Indies. I don't
did,
know. When Bryan was on the Indies, Jeff Jarrett was running TNA.
that's right. It was. Yeah.
So I don't know if
Yeah.
they've ever faced each other, but it was good. I mean,
Well,
Jeff Jarrett,
yeah.
it's just surprising
Jeff Jarrett's
sometimes that he
crazy. He can still go.
But it started off like Danielson was coming out, if I'm not mistaken, and Jeff Jarrett came up behind him with a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's all I got for Dynamite. Is there anything you wanted to add before we get into?
Also, the fact that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, like, I feel like doesn't age really.
No, he's looked the same. I feel like since he like wrestled Jericho
Yeah.
all those years ago.
Yeah, compared to like when we were just talking about JR, this guy has not changed at all.
I didn't have anything for Rampage. I rarely ever do. Rampage is an hour, and so
That's really
y'all
nothing
think there
really.
should be stuff I should add, let me know. But most of the time it's matches, and it's matches that don't progress storylines, which is why if you're
There's no
wondering
big
why
moments.
I don't talk about them, that is why. So that being said, let's get into Collision. The main match that was kind of talked about, even though it wasn't the main event, the main match that was talked about the week before was Thunder Rosa versus Deonna Purrazzo in a Texas Bull Rope match. They are in Arlington, Texas, and have been for the past couple of weeks. Is this just their place now? Is this like Daly's place for them for Collision? Because Collision has been at this sports arena.
Yeah, they made like a deal. It's not forever. I think it's for maybe through August or September.
It's like a residency.
Yeah, residency. Yeah.
Okay. I think this is the perfect size for an AEW crowd is something like this. But
Oh yeah, especially for Collision. Collision's the show that always looks pretty bad if they do like a full place because it's on a Saturday night and no one's really going to a wrestling show.
Yeah. So yeah, the Texas Bull Rope match. Thunder Rosa would end up defeating Deonna Purrazzo in a bloody match.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thunder Rosa I feel like does pretty well in like hardcore matches.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah,
well, that's how she won the title, right? Was that cage match?
Yeah, are they here in Britt Baker? Yeah. But
Is this feud ever gonna end though?
I don't know. It's like I don't know. It feels like it's going, but then it stops for like months, and then they pick it up
And
again,
then you're
and I
like,
don't
these
like it.
two are still going at it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's been a whole
you guys are
year.
top stars, but we don't know what to do with you.
Yeah, and they're like, it's been a few months since they fought each other.
Swerve had an open challenge this week to kind of, I don't know if it was to get him ready for All In. I know that's what he's doing with Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
Is
You know what's
happening.
funny about this match is that I saw on Twitter, like someone didn't like it. You know, they called it something. I forget what they said, but then RVD actually commented on that post and was something like he would want his money back, like during this match. And I was like, damn,
RVD
even
would have wanted.
yeah, I was like, even
Oh,
RVD, I'm like, unless he's just high saying this. But,
look, I mean, maybe you either like the style or you don't.
yeah. Definitely with the Japanese wrestlers when they come over, it's like obviously I know you, Andy, don't like it at all. I'm like 50-50 sometimes, but then I know there's
It
people that
can be
love it.
done. It can be done well. I mean, I shouldn't say that. In my opinion, because
Yeah,
some people think it is done well. For what
yeah,
I like, sometimes
yeah,
they show things that I like. Um,
exactly.
but it was Tomohiro Ishii answering Swerve's open challenge, which Swerve won. After that, it was announced that Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway will be teaming up to take on Ishii and Willow in the All In 0 Hour. This is another
Just
feud, Willow and Chris. I was like, y'all had
yeah,
like fucking couple matches already.
yeah. I know it's like defeats the purposes when at least if they've had like 3 matches, because you know there's no like tiebreaker thing then.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't. It's like kind of like who cares then?
Yeah,
But I guess like there's be more of a like a comedy thing because Stokely's in it.
it'll be interesting. I mean, I hope Ishii just fucking slaps the shit out of him.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that happens.
So, like I said before, JR and Danielson would have an interview similar to Swerve, which I'm sure they filmed in the same day. JR was just looking the same. I was just like,
Not
again.
exactly the same.
And then the main
It
event was
just
a
like
house. Sorry.
sorry, I was gonna say like it just like makes me think of like remember that like they were doing like a backstage interview I think with the Bucks or something like that or FTR and the Bucks came up and attacked them and JR like was just like standing there like I remember that one shot where he was just like standing there like looking at them and like it was like a really funny moment but also like JR looked like he had no interest in it too.
I mean,
And that
Finn
moment for
used to
me
say
is like
when
where it
you
kind of
hear
ended.
JR even on commentary, like there's time. JR doesn't bullshit. If he's not interested, he'll let you know in some way.
Yeah.
Like commentary, he just won't talk. You just won't hear JR if he doesn't give a shit about the match or
I
isn't
remember
liking it.
specifically that like what's it called the monkey scratch or whatever on the back. He just like doesn't sell it at all. He like hates that move so
Well,
much.
when people are like,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, yeah, there's been a lot of AEW matches where he's just like, I guess he's like, I'm not gonna fake it. Like he's never faked his
yeah. I
like
mean, he
reaction.
just
So
calls it
if he's not
as he sees
excited
it too.
about it, he's not gonna like phone it in. Which
Yeah, but that's why
respect
we
to him.
love JR though.
Yeah. Main event though was House of Black versus the Bang Bang Gang in a number one contenders match with special guest referee Christian. This was to see who would face the Patriarchy for the trios titles. Ends in no contest. Patriarchy attacks. Just what I was saying last week. I think at All In you get a three-way,
Yeah, but
a three-way trios tag match for the AEW trios titles.
yeah, I think so. I mean, the way that this match ended, I thought was actually kind of funny because Christian was fast counting to 10 when all the guys were down, and I think Buddy Murphy got up or whatever before he counted to 10, and then Christian just spears him. He's like 10, and he's like calls the match. I feel like Christian was the best part of this match.
I wish Nick Wayne could get the heat that Dom gets. Because fucking Nick Wayne bothers me so
Oh,
much.
I know. Nick Wayne could be like Dom. I feel like he's very similar.
His fucking puka shell necklace.
Yeah, because he has a similar look, as in like everyone kind of hates him. Look,
Yeah,
but
not a fan, not a fan. Which means you're doing your job, I guess. But
yeah, if you're a heel, yeah,
fucking douche. He's probably a really nice kid, but
yeah, he's probably a really nice guy, but fuck this guy.
yeah. So, I was hoping Tim was going to be on before we get into Raw, but let's get into Raw. This is the Raw after SummerSlam, and I thought it was the best show of the week.
Oh yeah,
Over SmackDown, over all the AEW shows.
Yeah, overall that was
definitely felt that. So the new World Heavyweight Champion Gunther, who was coming off the win off of Damian Priest at SummerSlam, would open up the show. And it was basically a celebratory promo, and Bash at Berlin's coming up. They needed another, contender for him. And surprisingly, SmackDown superstar Randy Orton would show up and say basically that, Hunter says that Randy's the next number one contender after maybe some people didn't remember, but I believe his shoulder was up. Now, if this was long-term storytelling, like, fantastic. That's kind of crazy. But if it was just one of those accents and they capitalize it, like, even more power to them. But storyline-wise, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I kind of like it. It feels like, I don't know, we haven't seen this really.
But yeah, it's cool that, a SmackDown star is now to Raw. Who knows how long Randy will stay on Raw.
Yeah.
But Randy was basically saying, he's not going to do anything out of nowhere. He wants to let him know straight up when it's coming.
Yeah, and what do you think about those times when they do that? Because that was not on the mic for the crowd, like in attendance. It was to the camera.
But the camera's still in their face.
Yeah, but like the people in the audience can't hear any of that.
Say his name and he appears.
He appears. I believe in Tim Gilbert. Hey guys, sorry I'm late tonight. The little one had a little trouble going down, but we're here. We're hanging. We're back. We're here at the PW fan.
You made it.
We were just getting into Raw.
All right,
from this past week, the Raw after SummerSlam. So yeah, Randy Orton and Gunther. Gunther would end up saying, "I'm ready and prepared for everyone and everything." Though he did admit later that Orton's appearance on Raw did catch him off guard. Orton did compare his matchup with Gunther to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Ric Flair, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, it was a weird comparison. Yeah. I didn't like. I was like, I mean, all right.
I guess kind of out of nowhere. Gunther's like Flair, like I guess a monster, kind of, or really good in the ring. Like Randy's not, and then Randy's like the flashy kind of like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
But that doesn't.
I don't feel like he is.
That doesn't.
I get what they were getting at, but it was a bad comparison.
It's not. No. It's not even. I don't even get what they're getting at. Like, one guy's like a dominant guy who like beats the shit out of people, which wasn't Ricky the Dragon Steamboat or Ric Flair. Neither one of those guys did that. And they were both
because Gunther does chops.
No, it's just like they were like technical. This was a miss.
Tim was offended.
I was like, what is this? I've watched all three of those matches, and I love Randy and Gunther too. But to compare it to Flair and the comparison to Flair and Steamboat is crazy, as the kids would say. It is crazy.
Is that what the kids were saying?
They always just say everything is crazy. They're like, blah 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 is crazy. Like whatever the context of the.
So like I was telling Jeremy, Tim, I thought this was the best show of the week. This Raw after SummerSlam. So after the opening segment with Gunther, Sheamus would defeat Ludwig Kaiser, who we haven't seen in a little bit. This was despite Pete Dunne's interference. eventually we're gonna get Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. I think that's gonna be an awesome match. I don't know when we're gonna. It would make sense if they do it at Bash of Berlin, considering both are like European wrestlers and probably have followings over there. I'd like to see that. Damian Priest would come out for a segment where he quickly would call out Finn Balor, who would appear on screen. Finn was basically saying that Damian changed, that there was never supposed to be any leaders, and then once he became champion. But he also said that it was like a year coming, a year in the making. I guess when Balor, who did he face? Cody? Or Seth for the title last year at SummerSlam. Remember, it was full circle, and I don't know if Damian accidentally caused Finn to lose. I can't remember a year ago.
It was something like that, because I remember like they had that storyline going on.
So then they introduced the new Judgment Day behind Finn, and that is Carlito, Liv Morgan, JD McDonough, not Damian Priest, obviously, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor.
Just whoever was left.
Everybody loves Carlito.
Dude, he's like the best member.
That's a little throwback for anybody that remembers old Carlito.
I'm going to bring this
Old
up.
Carlito was so much better.
Spoiler for next week, and I know I don't like doing this normally, but God, Dom made me laugh tonight on Raw. Dude, Tim, I don't think you've seen it, but Dom tonight on Raw was in the stands, and he was talking about to Rhea why he's with Liv. He said, she gives me tendies. She lets me play video games.
Oh my God. Tendies.
I was done. She gives me tendies. She lets me play video games.
What was the crowd just cracking up?
Yeah, dude, it was good. It was funny. That was a good opening segment. We'll talk about it obviously next week.
She gives me tendies,
let's get
dude. Everyone wants nuggies. We want nuggies and tendies. With honey barbecue, with honey barbecue, and some French fries.
Nothing better than that.
So let's get into, which I'm sure you guys are wanting to talk about, the CM Punk segment after his loss at SummerSlam. Big crowd pop, fresh off his loss to Drew. He said he wanted to fight. Seth would interrupt. And the two guys nearly came to blows. Punk went on saying, they told me 9 months and I did it in 5, talking about his comeback and his recovery from his injury. He said, where would CM Punk be if he stayed down the last time he lost the championship? When Rollins would come out, he said, after 10 long years, it is finally time for me to put you in the dirt. Drew would pop up, though, in the stands.
I love, though, what's great about this is they all got to be like loving it behind the scenes. Like, Drew,
it's good.
Drew Rollins and Punk are all like high fiving behind the scenes. Like, we fucking got him. Like, we got
Are they
him.
though?
I think so. At this point, with even Triple
I don't know.
With even Triple H being like, dude, he's a pleasure to have around. I think these are different times that we're. Corey Graves says they're friends again. Things are different, guys.
I don't know. Seth just feels like the kind of guy.
Being friends, though, I feel like is a strong word.
Friends is a strong word, but I think they all know that they're doing good business.
Yeah. Well, because they're professionals. They're just being professionals. And like I say to Tim, if Edge and Matt Hardy can work together and be fine, people need to be able to work with Punk.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate, like, the Edge and Matt Hardy thing is like the ultimate, like, if you guys can get in there and not kill each other, even if it's a little stiff.
And that was a storyline, too.
It's a little stiff.
Like, they made it into a storyline.
A little stiff. Get your little
shots. A couple shots here and there. You land one, I land one. We good? All right. Let's keep moving on.
But Drew would pop up in the stands, and he would still be rocking the bracelet. And he's taunting Seth, and taunting Punk, and Punk and Seth are almost about to come to blows, and Punk is just like, basically like, fuck, and then runs after Drew, hops over the barricade. While a frustrated Bronson Reed would come to the ring and hit like fucking 10 tsunamis on Seth Rollins.
Felt like 20. He just kept going.
Bronson Reed backstage basically was saying, I guess he has to, in order for stuff to happen, he has to take it into his own hands. And Seth suffered, quote unquote, internal bleeding.
Oh, man. Andy, you'll love this. Speaking of tsunamis, today, my daughter and I were on the trampoline. I don't want to say her name on the air sometimes. I don't want to, like, always bring it up. But we were playing on the trampoline, and we were, like, hanging out. And, those big trampolines have those nets that go around it. Which, man, I wish we had him as a kid because we would have been using that as like the Hell in a Cell or something. But so I'm sitting up against the net watching her play, and Andy, she's running back and forth. And if anybody doesn't know, Andy's obviously her uncle. And dude, she just comes running at me, and I'm like, "What is she doing?" And dude, she gave me like the full blown like Samoan butt into the corner, and I was like, "Oh." Just got like bashed up against the net and was like, "Oh my god, I was not expecting that."
The Umaga run,
dude. She gave me the full blown Umaga, like the butt to the head, and I was like, "Why?"
Just like, Jesus.
Good shit.
Didn't even have to like fake sell it. You're just like,
no, I did. I did
take a shot when you're out there,
dude. I always, anytime she like pretends to beat me up on the trampoline, I always sell it. You got to sell it real big. She'll like push me. I'll do like
Tim hurts himself just by doing stuff himself, like a kip up.
Yeah, Thanksgiving of this year, or I guess technically last year.
It's been that long.
I thought I would do a kip up like Shawn Michaels and The Rock on the trampoline. And I did do it, but as soon as I planted my left leg, something immediately in my knee, ACL, MCL, whatever region.
Dude was down for 10 minutes.
I was down.
I was there to go inside. I was like,
I almost thought I had to go to the hospital. I'm good though. It's still sore. It's still sore, dude, Andy. Yeah. All this time later.
That's hard to do in general as a kip up, and you're gonna want to do that.
You tweak
like out of nothing.
And after
we got to stretch before we do those things,
dude. I stretched the other day getting out of bed. Like my cat was like walking in, and I was like, "Hey, fat boy," and I did like a big stretch to like give him a hug. I was like, if anybody's watching on video, I was like, "Oh, come see me," and I like stretched like that. All my back muscles pulled all the way down. I literally like I think
you need to start stretching in the morning before you go do things.
Yeah, maybe just...
Dude, I called
that age, man. And
I went to work that day and only worked a half day because I literally couldn't. You know that feeling when you get a quote unquote kink, when you get a kink in your neck and you have to turn your whole body to turn your head.
Yeah.
So it was that, but it was my back. So like literally, I was like, and like I couldn't like bend over either. It was so bad. Like some. It's definitely
Andy. God.
No, but
I gotta bleep that now.
So, but like, yeah, like this guy at work was like, "Hey, can you trim my beard up?" And I was like, "Dude, I can't." It's like I can't bend over, dude.
He's like, "Why do you even hear that?"
And I was like, honestly, I'm leaving after you. So.
They're like, "How'd you pull your back?" Like, I tried to give my cat a hug.
I stretched. I don't
know.
Pitiful.
You know when you get like so excited you see your dog or cat and you're like, "Oh, he's a big fat boy," and you do like the big stretch. Yeah, like that's how I pulled every muscle in my back somehow.
Do you ever have this stretch where you like, it's especially in the morning where you stretch and then you start shaking because it's such a good stretch?
So that's kind of like how it was, but like for some reason my back exploded and like
it hurt.
I felt the way all I kept thinking of to bring it back to wrestling was I kept thinking of Shawn Michaels in WrestleMania 14. Like I was in the shower, like trying to like shampoo my hair, and I would like bend over a little bit to like grab soap or something, and and I remember there's a part where Shawn like gets up and he's like, "God damn it!" He's like grabbing his lower back, and I was like, "Dude, that's how I felt in real life." I was like, every move was like, "Austin just pinned me for the title. I can't take it anymore."
Shall we continue with Raw?
All right.
Jeremy's like, I guess we'll continue the show. Odyssey Jones would debut from NXT to help out the New Day. Odyssey Jones picked up both members of AOP, dude.
That was crazy.
And suplexed them. He took them both on the side. Both Akam and Razor picked him up at the same time and scoops and slammed him. Backstage, Woods does not seem thrilled that Odyssey is around right now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's all part of whatever they're doing with Karrion Kross. Damian Priest would defeat JD McDonough via DQ. Finn Balor would attack. Or was it Finn Balor? It was definitely Rhea or Liv and Dom, but did Finn do anything?
Should I do the thing?
What?
I'm gonna show you something you've never seen before.
Oh my god! All right,
it's my best.
Since when is that like a thing? When you like do the thing?
He's like, should I do it? Like what?
You know,
I've never heard you do this.
Should I do the thing that this is the first time you're hearing it?
What do you mean? Go back. Look, the hardcore fans know I've said this before. That's the Finn Balor.
All right.
Well, maybe Tim's cat is named Finn, and it's named after Finn.
It is.
Does it really have to name Finn Balor?
Yeah. And it's you know what's great? It's named after NXT Finn Balor because he's my boy's getting old. He's almost like 10. So I named him him a long time ago. Back when he was first came out.
Rhea Ripley would come out to save Priest from Dom and Liv. We would get a VHS tape of Joe Gacy, and then we would get the debut shortly after of the Wyatt Six. Obviously not all 5 members, but it would be Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Dexter Lumis. So, what, like, the match, wrestling-wise, perfectly fine. But as a tribute to Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, I thought it was exceptional. If they continue to bring the work in the ring, if they can continue to bring the work between the ropes and revert to the gimmicky stuff of the characters before and after the bell, I think it'll do just fine.
Yeah, like their entrance was so cool. How they stopped around the Bo Dallas sat in the chair with the lantern
and watched, and they used the Bray Wyatt Code Orange song.
Yeah,
that they wrote for his comeback.
Yeah, that was a nice
to the
touch
WWE. But yeah, I mean, crowd was super hot for this. It was cool to see them finally in action. I guess we still need to see Sister Abigail in action as well as Uncle Howdy.
Yeah,
but the other 3
I guess you saved them though.
And they got some double team moves going on, and I thought it was a good debut for him. And it was in Baltimore, which they said 11 years ago is also where the Wyatt family debuted, so it was full circle.
Yeah, that crowd was really into it too,
dude. I loved. I think it was last week, right, when they had their debut match, or was that this week that we're covering it?
I mean, it's not tonight, so it was last. It was
we're covering it tonight, but
we're covering it tonight.
Week.
I can't wait to talk about that because that was awesome. Their entrance and everything was so cool.
Tim, we've been talking about it for like 3 minutes.
What? I think I missed something.
We literally were about to get done Raw. We were talking about it.
Oh,
we talked about it. Yeah, what do you want to say about it? Just
cut it. Say? Just cut it. Just
no.
Cut
we're leaving this.
No, just cut it. It's fine.
What your opinion on this?
I mean, I feel like
stuff in for me.
I feel like I just said. I thought it was so fucking cool.
How do you think they did? Yeah.
I don't think I think that it didn't. Sorry, I was moving something. There was like shit spilling. I was like trying to get something real quick.
It was just so funny how that you said that so seriously too. Okay, with
No. You know what? Leave it in. Full transparency. I spilled my Coke Zero all over the. Full transparency. I spilled my Coke Zero all over the floor, and I panicked, and I was trying to get it, and I got behind for a second. Okay, well, not many people can spill something live podcast and freak out as it's drifting into their $1,000 guitar pedal board.
It's fine. It's fine.
Dude, he's like, oh, I can't wait. You talking about Wide 6? Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
Sorry. Anyway, no, I love the entrance. I thought the match was a good length because I thought if it goes too long, I guess that's the problem with Bray. Was the problem with Bray's character though too, because he has to plow through people. But I feel like if the match goes too long, it like humanizes them too much.
It felt fast paced. It felt like they were constantly going.
Yeah, it just felt like
but like you can't have them there for too long without like their mystique over them.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden they just turn back into like regular people. You know, like if they're like out there too long, you got to keep it like I feel like you got to keep it quick, almost like a Goldberg kind of thing. Except all these people like work really good, but like you just got to show it like show boom 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 boom, and then like it's gone. Because if you do it like you leave it out there too long, it loses the mystique of it.
Yeah,
I should say before we move on to SmackDown that Chad Gable's new group with the Creed brothers and I guess Ivy Nile is called American Made. Creed brothers and Ivy Nile, I guess, just stay together, man. They were in the Diamond Mine. You guys weren't watching NXT at this time. They were in Diamond Mine, which was it was the Creed brothers, Ivy Nile, Stokely Hathaway, and Roderick Strong. Was a group in NXT 2.0. And then obviously we know where two of the members went.
Yeah.
But let's get into SmackDown. Cody Rhodes would open the show. Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline would show up, and then Kevin Owens would show up to help Cody. After getting everyone out of there, Cody would make Kevin Owens an offer to be the number one contender at Bash in Berlin for Cody's title. Owens felt like he didn't deserve it, and he would continue to feel that way throughout the night. Now, what do you think? Do you think he goes heel because he doesn't want to do this match?
I don't know.
He keeps saying that he doesn't deserve it, and he's like kind of getting frustrated, it seems like, because he's like, I didn't earn it. But then Nick Aldis was saying, well, maybe Roman Reigns, and then Kevin Owens got offended.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, are you guys talking about Kevin Owens? Dude, I can't wait to talk about that.
Dude, it's gonna become an ongoing joke now.
That's gonna be my new thing.
SmackDown? Can't wait to talk about SmackDown.
Dude, like you guys are like doing a live. You're like doing a SummerSlam review. I'm like, oh, you guys talking about SummerSlam coming up, dude? I can't wait. Meanwhile, you're mid review.
Yeah, we're halfway through the fucking show.
Can't wait.
God,
I want Jeremy to leave all that on. Leave it all in, Jeremy. Full transparency.
We are.
I'll leave that in.
Don't leave in Andy's other thing. Make sure you bleep it. No.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna leave that in.
Just bleep again. All right, Andy, shut the hell up. Move on.
You said it again?
Yeah, you did. You'll have to search for it.
I just did.
God damn it, Andy.
He just did like 5 seconds ago.
All right,
cut all
I
this.
should just say it like rapid fire.
No.
All right. Street Profits would defeat A-Town Down Under to move on to the winners of DIY and Pretty Deadly in the later on the night. Winners of these tag matches will go on to face the Bloodline. Jade, Bianca, and Naomi feud with the Unholy Union and Blair Davenport will continue. There was a segment with LA Knight celebrating him being the new United States champion. Santos Escobar would come out there, who was about to have a number one contenders match with Andrade. The match would end up happening, and Santos would end up winning due to Carmella Hayes' interference, wanting revenge on Andrade. The tag match I was talking about before, DIY and Pretty Deadly. DIY would end up defeating Pretty Deadly, so now we're going to get Street Profits versus DIY. Winners face Bloodline for the titles. But the main event, the main segment of the show was Solo Sikoa. Comes out and calls out Roman Reigns pretty much right away. Bloodline's out there, Roman Reigns is out there, and Roman just fucking clears house. I mean, the pop was huge. That summarizes the entire thing. He cleared house. He took everyone out with no help.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, are you talking about when Roman cleared house?
No Jacob Fatu there. It was rumored that the whole injury angle with Jacob Fatu is to keep Roman and him away from each other. That match will be sick.
Yeah. So whenever he does show up,
pick up sticks.
That shit will be white 6. Yeah, whenever that happens.
Little Nikki reference for the older people.
But yeah, how you guys feel about Roman being back? Does it just feel right to you as it does to me? I love it.
It feels
good.
like
yeah, it feels like he's gonna be a top babyface. Actually, it's like long-term storytelling because he's told Cody he will always be second. Now he's back. Cody will technically be the second babyface because Roman. I think
he did say.
It feels good. Not as good to not like. But it feels good. Not good enough to like bust, but it's close. Yeah.
That's how you're described.
We at
close enough to bust, but not fully.
He did tap a 3 on the title at SummerSlam.
Gee, Andy, we can't be all business all the time, brother. You gotta keep it loose.
Dude, I'm about to say my word again.
No, that's not your word. First of all,
yeah, don't say that.
It's my new word.
No,
I'm attaching myself to it.
I'm attaching myself to it. So what were you saying?
I was saying at SummerSlam, Cody went like this and tapped on the belt, looking at Roman, saying there's going to be a third match. Basically, tapped a 3 on his title. Mm-hmm. So we will get another one. I do think they team up in War Games.
So then you think the Usos are with them?
Well, I know Jey Uso said he doesn't want to go back to tag team wrestling, but we'll see.
Because somehow they need to get them on
members.
SmackDown,
so who's the fifth then? If you have
Cody, the Usos, Roman.
Do you have KO? Do you have Randy?
I mean, I guess, but that just feels like, I don't know. I feel like they need Sammy.
Yeah, but Sammy hasn't been involved in this new bloodline at all.
I know.
He's not feeling...
He's like the OG of their...
Yeah, but he's not feeling Usi these days.
He's not feeling very Usi lately, yeah. So, I don't know. That wraps up the show, guys. Timmy, do you have a classic show of the week? Did anyone watch the new Damian Priest doc? I don't know.
I watched a little bit of it. It's pretty good. It was
very good. You should finish it. I suggest. If you have nothing
I saw that it was previously viewed on the Peacock that we share, so I just clicked it to watch a little bit of it.
Jeremy, did you watch it? I don't think you were there to talk about it.
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. Sorry, Andy. We don't watch 1,000 shows like you do.
I watch it all. But there's no more. I was telling Jeremy, there's no more AEW biography. It's over. So now,
Andy's like, what am I going to do between 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. when I can't watch the show?
Joe Hendry sang a song recently at Great American Bash the other week.
He did. Actually, that was actually really good.
Yeah. And then he had a match with Joe Coffey, I believe, right? At Great American Bash Night 2.
I actually do have a classic show of the week because I just watched it last night. It is the Royal Rumble 2003, and it's weird. It's one of my favorite shows ever, and I never really go out of my way to watch old Royal Rumbles unless it's Rumble season.
Or Glazer.
Yeah. but it's one of my favorite shows ever. And I'm like looking back, and I'm like, man, this show was great overall. So let me take you back. The year is 2003. It's over 20 years ago at this point. So we got Steven Richards with Victoria versus Spike Dudley opening the show. The Big Show with Paul Heyman against Brock Lesnar. Because at this point,
Heyman gets a singles match. A winner gets an entry in the Royal Rumble match.
Yes.
That's a stipulation.
Yes. The Dudley boys, Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley against Lance Storm and William Regal. You have Dawn Marie versus Tori Wilson. And Andy, it was funny when I was watching this back last night. It was the
look at Al.
Look at Al. Look at Dawn. It was all the stuff like where Al Wilson was like in love with Dawn Marie. It was that.
Look at Dawn, but look at Al.
Yeah. If there wasn't when Taz would be like, look at Dawn, and then Michael Cole would be like, but look at Al, and then okay, here's a big one. This is the match that Scott Steiner says basically killed his WWE run, which is
he said Triple H sandbagged him.
Yep, singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. If anything, this is just good to watch for wrestling history, just to say that you saw it and see what he's talking about. Scott Steiner against Triple H with Ric Flair for the World Heavyweight Championship. Classic. I mean, this match is honestly one of the best matches ever.
Yeah, say his name and he appears, Tim. Say his name.
I don't want to say his name. But it is one of the best matches ever. Chris Benoit against Kurt Angle, singles match for the WWE Championship. And
goddamn Andy.
I know. And then the last match of the night is the 30-man Royal Rumble, which goes 53 minutes and 47 seconds. And without telling you who won, the last two people standing in the match are The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. So it's a great Royal Rumble.
This is the one where Shawn Michaels is entrant number 1, right?
No, that's the following year. No, wait, hang on.
I think you're lying.
No. It's the following year, because the one that Chris...
No, he's both. Well, if he is the following year, he's also... I'm looking at it. He also is... Him and Jericho are 1 and 2 in this one.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. I can't... It's been over 20 years. So,
but
I guess
this isn't the one that he's the anchor. This isn't the one that he's the anchor.
This is the match leading up to WrestleMania 19, though, right?
Yeah, so it's Jericho and Michaels. This is, I think, how that all starts.
So it is. But they both had a bet. I remember now. The storyline was like, we'll come in 1 and 2. Whoever, like, they were like doing this, like, who's the best wrestler ever, kind of thing, you know?
Better than all the wrestlers.
Yeah, great show. Go back and watch it. It's old, but it's fun, and a lot of characters that people are still familiar with to this day. Stevie Richards' YouTube channel has become quite popular, and he's opening the show on this one. So I always liked Stevie Richards. I used to tell Andy all the time as a kid. I was like, I like Stevie Richards, and Andy'd be like, he sucks.
Dude, the fucking face of Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, and also I feel like his body was just a weird, like, I don't know.
Now
shape.
Jeremy's getting personal with it.
He's like, he was kind of fat.
Like the way that his head was on his body was weird.
No wonder he never made it.
Stevie, we love you. Andy, you got anything else to say before we go off?
No, that does a show. Episode 141.
And he's like, no, shut up. We're done.
2 more weeks. We'll hit year 4.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. 4 years of the PW fan. Thank you all. There's been...
When we cover All In, that'll be our 4-year anniversary.
There was a freshman in high school who's now going in to be a young college lassie. Or lad. I'll be honest. It's probably a dude listening to the show. So it's going to be a lad.
Well, Tim, take us out. Take us out, Tim.
That's it. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. Sorry I was a little late tonight. And are we doing the outro right now? Man, I can't wait to do the outro. All right, guys. Have a great week.